Yesterday, I saw the one betting service, I don't remember which one now, put out the over-unders for Major League Baseball. And the American League Central was something like I've never seen before. Maybe it's possible I just don't remember, but this is very unusual. Look at the American League Central besides the White Sox, of course. The Guardians, Tigers, and Twins are all 83.5. The Royals are 82.5. White Sox, obviously, also something I don't think I've ever seen before, an over/under that low of 50.5. But what do we make of it? Basically, the top four teams have the same number.
Nobody knows who's going to win this division.
That's exactly. They can't sort them out. They can't separate.
They got to be so tight because at this point in the season, you're going to see where the money goes before you make those. Before the Guardians jump to 86 or something, you know what I mean? Like you're going to.
Well, the Guardians ain't going to spend any significant money at this point.
You know, whatever.
The Tigers might.
Some team's going to start taking some cash, and then they're going to start juicing up the wins.
Well, do we believe they should all be this close? Are they all this close? What do you think, Jason?
I don't know, Lord Baseball. What do you tell me?
Well, yes. I'll give you my opinion at the end, but I want everybody else to get a chance.
I don't like the Twins. I think I would put them a couple lower. But I say that every year. I don't like the Twins any year. I don't believe in them.
They'd be right there.
The Tigers really surged at the end last year. I said last year this division was going to be better than people thought, and it was. And the Royals have an aggressive owner who's trying to get a new stadium and who's spending money, so they're going to be in it. I think they're about right. I would probably drop the Twins a little bit, but otherwise I think it is hard to tell these teams apart right now. I would go Guardians, Royals, Tigers, Twins, White Sox. That's how I would do it.
Before you go, G, I want to ask Bull, why are the Royals just one game lower? Like why not just set them all at 83.5 at that point? It seems still going to make them 82.5 and the other three.
They don't arbitrarily pick the numbers. There's some sort of computer system or simulations they use to run the numbers there. I mean, go ahead, Dustin.
No.
The Guardians last year, to a certain extent, overachieved, especially under a first-year manager.
To a certain extent.
Would you agree with that?
Definitely overachieved.
Yeah, they overachieved as a team.
Yeah.
As individual players, there was not a lot of overachievement,
Okay.
which is interesting.
So okay. Well, you do agree with me in some fashion.
Yes, sure. I didn't expect them to win that many games. Yeah.
When we was playing the Tigers, I think the Tigers is on the rise. Tigers is going to be a problem in a couple of years. They're going to be the Royals. They got wit. They got guys. I like their young staff. I like their young players. And Minnesota is the team we always keep talking about falling off. They're like the JV version of the Steelers. The Twins
fell off a little last year.
But the Twins are always competitive.
They usually are.
They are always competitive.
Yeah.
So, I thought the Guardians had an opportunity this offseason to put themselves above the fray. I thought everybody else made some moves, some strides, and I thought the Guardians had an opportunity with a strategic signing with pitching or bat here. I thought they was going to be able to be like, hey, listen, that was a nice year last year, but guess what? We are the Guardians, and we about to kick it in the next gear and put us in contention with the Yankees and some of the other teams, the Orioles, other teams like that. They took a bit of a – it's tough because, yes, the Guardians always do more with less. But at some point, you want them to say, look, just go for it, which we know they're not going to do that. I think that they position themselves now at a point where they're going to be in a dogfight all year. Yeah. I think this is going to be a fight to the end. I don't think they're going to run away with it. And I think, to me, the biggest problem with the Guardians is I feel like they're going to struggle to score runs.
Listen, the Guardians have won this division 5 of the last 10 years. That's 50%.
Yeah.
So it's not unreasonable to think that they could win it again.
Sure.
Because they're always right there. And the money doesn't change. They continue to do the same stuff, and they're always sort of right there. So I think the number's probably right.
Now, I think the number's good. I actually kind of like all four of those teams to go over the four top teams by a little bit. Like I think all four of those teams will finish between 83 and 90 with 83 to 90 wins. I think the White Sox, 50. It's hard to pick an under on a 50.5, but
that would be
they are
miserable.
Hideous.
That would be miserable.
I think I'm going to put a whale bet on the under of 50.5 just for the fun.
I mean, they're so bad. What do they have?
What did they win last year? Like 20-something games?
I mean, they
got nobody.
They got
one player.
Nobody who could stay healthy.
Yeah, they might trade Luis Robert. They traded their best pitcher of a team that had one good pitcher.
Yep.
They have. You know how much I know baseball. I could barely think of any of the pitchers on their team.
Adam, what do they do? Like, this is so bad for the game to have a team that's going to draw no fans.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the players aren't going to want to go play there. The players on the team aren't going to, like, it's just really bad for the product. So what's the answer?
There's talk that they could move. They could leave Chicago.
They probably
really?
should.
Yeah. I don't know how
even when they're good, they don't do well in Chicago.
Right.
Chicago is a Cubs town. It's always been a Cubs town and will always be a Cubs town.
I mean, baseball has about 5 of these teams.
Not this bad.
Nobody goes to see the Marlins.
Yeah, but I mean, Marlins aren't. What's the Marlins win total?
That's also more partly about the market than the team.
I mean, the Rays. Who goes to see the Rays?
They don't get good attendance.
Like there's multiple. Like the way you could pick the White Sox. There's all these teams where it's just like people. You watch the games and it's like, there's no one there.
Yeah.
I don't know what their lease situation is. I would strongly look at Nashville.
Yeah. But circling
back. I didn't mean to derail you from that.
Yeah. Circling back. I want. Part of me. I'm like, well, are the Guardians the favorites to win the division? Maybe, but then I'm like, but if I don't like them, who do I like? I mean, all the Royals and Tigers, like the Guardians, are relying on a lot of young players, and when you rely on young players, there's going to be a sense of up and down.
Sure.
One of the reasons people liked the Tigers last year, why? Spencer Torkelson, first-round pick, great player, had a great year. It looked like he was breaking out in 2023. He was awful last season. He got sent to the minors.
Yep.
He was terrible. Their lineup, if you look at the Tigers lineup, it stinks. Stinks. Now, they got hot for 6 weeks, whatever. The Guardians lineup is better than the Tigers lineup.
They didn't look like they stunk last year in the playoffs to me.
Best pitcher in baseball helps too.
Well,
that was one of the most competitive series in the entire playoffs.
First of all, it's one series. I don't remember how many runs did the Tigers score in those 4 games.
Mize pitched twice and they got hot at the right time.
Yeah,
not Mize. Sorry, Skubal. Skubal pitched twice.
Big difference.
And they got hot at the right time.
Kerry Carpenter had a bunch of big hits. They don't have one all-star caliber hitter. Not one.
And what I'm saying to you is we're purging our hitters.
Well, we purged one hitter.
You have Ramirez. If you look at the Guardians and say this, so let me just step back outside.
Yeah.
I'm step out. I'm outside the progressive field. I'm looking on the field. I'm like, let me look at what these Guardians got.
Yeah.
I come away and say, you have Jose. Who else scares me?
Well, who scares the other Tigers? Nobody.
But I'm just saying.
At least we got one.
What I'm saying is, that was. I don't know if our goal is to win the division or win the championship.
Listen, it's close between these teams. The Tigers have a flawed team, a flawed lineup. Jason, you wanted to argue about one player being an all-star in their lineup?
You got one.
I mean, Riley Green should be.
He's not.
But right now he's not. But he certainly has potential to be.
Yeah, I know that. But, some guys just never live up to it. I'm not saying he won't. I think he could be.
He was decent last year. He was decent.
He was. But like I said, first of all, baseball is the hardest sport to predict by a lot.
Yeah.
Because in baseball, you'll have a guy just have a bad season for no particular reason. That never happens in basketball unless there's injury. It almost never happens in football except for age and injury. In baseball, like Cody Bellinger was Rookie of the Year, then he was MVP. And now he's been kind of mediocre. Just a guy since then.
Yeah.
It's so weird. So this happens when it's hard to predict, even more so with young players. Now, the biggest concern I have about the Guardians, beyond the obvious of the lineup, believe it or not, I'm going to surprise you here, is the bullpen. Because bullpens are unpredictable from year to year. Okay? Nobody in that Guardians pen outside of Class A had a big-time track record before last season. And Class A, I'm worried about the mental scars of what happened to him in the playoffs last year.
The one good thing about Class A was his last appearance was terrific. So he got beat up. He got beat up against the Yankees, but he looked like Class A his last time out. For whatever that's worth, he can take that with him into the winter.
I will say this, though. No matter how great he pitches in the regular season, fans are not going to care.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
And I hear you on the bullpen, but I do think that they have enough options and enough depth that even if Hunter Gaddis slips, I don't know who, but someone else will emerge for that spot because they are so
There's a
deep.
lot of talent there. I think they'll be fine. I'm just saying, the bullpen is like, in a way, it's like defense on football. In football, you're relying on a collection of guys.
Yeah.
And so it's sometimes one year it's great, and then the next year it slips.
Right. I think their top 3 are legit.
I agree.
In Gaddis, Cade Smith, and Clase.
Some of the other guys.
Beyond that, yes, you may have some Like
Right.
we talked about Eli Morgan the other day. He doesn't throw hard, and that's a big thing in baseball today.
Yeah.
He's only throwing 91, I think, 91, 92.
The Royals have,
the relievers they've given up this offseason are not their impact relievers.
the Guardians have one player that you fear in the lineup. That's fair
Yeah.
with Jose.
Yeah.
The Tigers have 0 at this point. The Royals have 3 because they got Perez, they
Bobby
got Witt,
Witt.
and they got what's his name? First baseman.
I got a
Pasquantino.
question. Who
Yeah.
just got hurt and is going to be out? Is that Fry?
Fry is out. Yeah.
So how long is he going to be out?
Probably half the season.
Jesus. So okay, okay. Let's 14 home runs for David Fry.
Yep.
Gimenez 9 home runs. You go look at
Naylor. You traded.
Naylor
Right?
31.
Santana hit home runs.
So you're looking at almost 50 home runs
Right.
on a team
Well,
that
it's not 50 because they added some.
they added Santana. Unless you feel Santana's going to come.
He could have 20. He'll have 20.
So you're at a minus 30.
Yeah, from a team that was middle of the pack.
That was
in home
middle of the
runs.
pack in
Yeah,
home runs.
That's not good.
The biggest concern for me is the power numbers.
I would expect Manzardo to hit 20. this year,
Manzardo go up.
15 to 20.
Whoever they play second's going to hit some. They're not going to
Yeah,
hit 0.
right. But it's at best they're going to break even on home runs.
Sure.
You know.